Hi, welcome to How to Repair. This video is on how to change a door seal. You can use it on Bosch, Neff or Siemens appliances. Right, we'll just start giving you the tools and everything else you need in the text around here while I take the lid off the machine. 2 screws on the back. Once you've removed them, the lid slides back on its 2 locators, which I'll explain later in the video. Now we'll remove the soap drawer by pressing the button down. Easily pops out. And you have 3 screws on the front by the soap drawer and 1 on the side. Some of these screws will be torque heads, so you will need some specialist torques for these. Once you've undone all the screws, the panel has to be prized apart carefully. You will see me using the screwdriver here just to carefully prise the panel off, and then we'll place that on the top. And now we'll remove the retaining clip on the door seal. Now do remember, this video is quite long, it's 12 minutes, but I will show you how to take the counterweight off and all the techniques for making sure you do an absolutely perfect job. You can see the spring here that holds the metal band. A little bit of an art to getting it back on, but I'll show you that later in the video. Now I always tuck the door seal inside itself in the drum so it's out of the way. And the next thing that we'll remove is the door interlock, which is held on with 2 screws. At the website we'll show you not only where to buy the cheapest source on tools, but also where to obtain the cheapest source on getting a new door seal. Just taking off the kicker plate here, there's only 1 screw behind this. Now I normally find this quite tedious because the clips, it slides slightly across and you have to be careful, otherwise you can break them, but the screw does hold the panel in place. As you can see, even I'm having a little bit of trouble there. Now underneath here there are 2 screws which hold the facial panel onto the machine. Now some engineers are able, including myself, to change the door seal without taking the panel off or the counterweight, but I'm showing you the easy technique. For the extra 10 minutes it's well worth it to get the job right in the first place. Here's the counterweight, and as you can see the seal sits inside the counterweight. Now the problem being is if you don't remove the counterweight, unless you're very good with getting the seal on and cleaning up the surface, it does make life difficult. So we're going to remove the counterweight here, and as you can see there's 3 screws and a retaining band. Now the art to this is to loosen the band off first, and then remove the screws. There is an art to putting all this back together. You'll see it later in the video, but it's well worth watching to the end. It's always best to get the job right in the first place rather than having to do it twice or causing any damage to the actual drum itself. Just removing all these 3 screws and then we'll remove the counterweight. Now while I'm doing this, do remember to subscribe to our channel and send your colleagues or friends a link to the subscription, because you never know when you're going to need a domestic appliance repair. And all our videos and help pages on the website are totally free of charge, and it will save you a small fortune. This repair, for example, if you were calling an engineer, would cost you between £100 and £150, depending on the company, including the price of the seal. Now we're just taking the seal off here. This clips over the plastic part of the drum, and the metal band, which is similar to elasticated, but it's sprung loaded, and basically that holds it in place. And this is a very important technique to clean up this surface thoroughly. Remove all the calcium and dirt so you've got a good surface to put the new seal on. Now we're fitting a new genuine seal. You can fit a pattern one. Now on our website what we do is we put links and products on that we find from other companies which are reasonably priced. A pattern seal for this machine you should be able to pick up for under £20, and a genuine seal you should be able to get it for between £30 and £40. But we keep all our web pages up to date with the latest deals that we find, and you should be able to find yourself a bargain on there. Just getting the seal over the lip. Now these holes must be located at the bottom of the drum, 180 degrees or 6 o'clock, whichever you prefer. Now I'm tucking the seal inside the drum to start with so we do not do any damage to the seal. Now just stretch the spring and get it all the way around. Now we'll fit the concrete block. Now I recommend sliding it up, locating the bottom of the concrete block in its correct location, and then the weight is off your hands, so you're able just with your fingers to get it to clip into place nicely without doing any damage to yourself or the machine. Right, now the first thing we have to do here is get the metal band on and tension it about halfway to 3/4 of what it was when you took it off. It would be a good idea, I should have mentioned earlier, to actually mark up the threads to see how much tension was on it. Now the reason we do this is when we're locating the screws which are next, we start each of the screws and only put them in 1/3 of the distance. What this allows for the concrete block to sit central inside the band, therefore not doing any damage to the plastic which the band sits round. And then once you've got all three in, just do them up fully, and then we'll put the correct tension onto the metal band. Again, these screws are star drive here. They do vary from machine to machine, and the band is, I'm using quarter drive 8mm socket. The reason why I use quarter drive is it's nice and convenient with domestic appliances that fit in easily, whereby some of the 1/2 inch or 3/4 is just too large to get in there. Okay, so we've tensioned up. Now we've got to relocate the front panel, but a technique, make sure you put the door interlock just tucked inside the drum so you don't catch the wiring. And you can see there's 4 lugs on this panel, and they sit in the holes and then just push upwards into its location, and the bottom will clip in. And then you replace the 2 screws. Right, the next thing we've got to do is fit the door lock, and as you can see, because we put it inside the drum, it's easy to get hold of. Straightforward, no complications on this. When actually taking the machine apart, it's well worth laying out all the parts in order, especially when it comes to things like the soap door screws. Because those are stainless steel usually, because it's a water area, it stops them corroding. So if you put the wrong screws in there, they can rust and then cause you problems later on. Peeling the seal back now. Now it's a little bit more tricky than the inside on the drum itself. This has got to go over. It's quite a sharp edge, but just take your time, work your way round. Get it nicely located. It's worth spending a bit of time to get these jobs completely right. You don't want the seal twisted because it will just wear out a lot quicker. And again, it's well worth cleaning up all the surfaces before you do the job. And there you go. Now we'll put the band back on. Now this has only got a small spring at the bottom, so it's a little bit harder again than the inner spring, but just take your time and work it round. If you do have problems, a little technique for you is to put some fairy liquid or detergent on the edge, and it will slide over a lot easier. Because I've been doing this for 30 odd years, I make it look a little bit simple, but it is easy. Now again, I'm cleaning up all the surfaces, especially the door area, because the door area ends up with calcium on the glass. And if you do not end up with a perfect surface, you will end up with a leak coming through. And again, it'll wear the seal with the door opening and shutting. So it's well worth, once a month, just giving the whole thing a clean round. Now, when putting the facial panel on, make sure you're careful not to trap any of the wires. And take your time, because the panels are fragile. So they just sit into clips. They just push into place. Now we'll replace the screws. Again, as I said earlier, make sure you get the correct screws in the soap drawer area, because over a period of time they will rust if you put steel ones in there. They should be stainless steel. Again, pressing the button down on the soap drawer, and that slots in nicely. We'll now put the kick strip on. Again, be careful when putting it on. They do just clip into place, and they are quite fragile. Now we'll replace the pump flap. Bring the machine down. Now you've got two location lugs on the lid, which I pointed there, and it just slots forward. Then put the screws in the back. Now a little technique, which I'll show you in a second, is once you've connected the machine back up to the water supply, just to make sure you've done the job correctly, put a piece of paper underneath the machine, let it go through a cycle, and you will see clearly if you've got any drips. Thank you very much for watching this video. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Thanks very much for watching.